The space station floated in the dark of space like a lonely island. Its long metal arms stretched out into the black covered in blinking red lights. For most people inside, the night was quiet. Machines hummed, engines breathed slowly, and nothing seemed unusual. But in the silence, a sound began. It was faint at first, almost like the wind. Then it grew sharper, like a cry. A desperate cry. Most people ignored it. Some thought it was only the pipes or maybe a broken vent. Others laughed nervously and said it was just an echo. But one man did not ignore it. His name was Daniel. Daniel was an ordinary human among hundreds of aliens and workers on the station. He had no special rank, no powerful weapons, and no close friends. He fixed machines, cleaned old wires, and worked quietly. But that night, when the cry echoed again, Daniel felt something move inside him. The cry was not metal. It was not air. It was a voice. A weak, broken voice. Daniel left his small cabin and stepped into the hallway. The lights flickered above his head. The corridor was empty. The sound came again, distant but clear this time, like someone whispering through the walls. He followed. Down the narrow stairs, past closed doors, into the forgotten lower decks where nobody liked to go. The air grew colder. Dust floated like gray snow. Daniel's boots echoed against the floor. He felt his heart beating faster, but he kept walking. Then he saw it. A cage. It stood in the corner of a storage bay, hidden behind old crates and shadows. Inside the cage was a figure, a girl, but not human. Her skin shimmered pale blue under the weak light. Her eyes were large and bright, filled with fear. Chains clamped her arms and legs. She trembled as she cried again. Daniel froze. He had never seen her before. Who was she? Why was she locked in a cage? Please, she whispered when she saw him. Her voice cracked. Help me. Daniel looked around quickly. The room was empty. No guards, no one else. Only the girl, the chains, and the cage. He stepped closer, his hands shaking. Who are you? He asked softly. I cannot say, the girl breathed. Her eyes darted to the shadows as if she feared someone was listening. But I am a prisoner. They will kill me soon. Daniel's stomach twisted. On this station, it was forbidden to interfere with prisoners. Punishment was swift. No one questioned orders. Still, he could not look away. Who put you here? He asked. Her lips trembled. The masters of this place. They are not what they seem. They hide their crimes. Please, you must believe me. Daniel's mind raced. Was she dangerous? Was this a trap? He knew aliens were often accused of strange powers. But when he looked into her eyes, he saw only pain. She was not lying. The chains rattled as she tried to move. Her wrists were bruised. Please, she whispered again. You are human. You are different. You are the only one who hears me. Her words chilled him. Before Daniel could answer, heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. His chest tightened. Guards? The girl's eyes widened with terror. They come! She hissed. If they see you, they will lock you away too. Daniel looked at the door, then back at her. His mind screamed to run. Leave her. Forget this. Go back to his cabin. But another voice inside him spoke louder. If you leave her, she will die. The footsteps grew closer. Daniel pressed his hand against the cold bars of the cage. Why should I trust you? He whispered urgently. The girl leaned forward, her chains clinking. Her voice shook but carried a strange power. Because if I die, you will never know the truth. And without the truth, your kind will not survive. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. What truth? What did she mean? The footsteps stopped outside the door. A shadow moved under the crack of light. Someone was right there. The girl's hand reached through the bars, weak but desperate. Her eyes locked onto his. Help me, please. You are my only chance. The door handle turned. Daniel's heart thundered in his chest. He had only a second to decide. If he stayed, he could be caught. If he ran, he would never know the truth, and if he helped her, he might be throwing away his life. The door began to open. Daniel's hand trembled on the cage. Sweat dripped down his face. His instincts screamed both danger and duty at once. He felt trapped between fear and courage. The girl whispered one last time, so soft he almost didn't hear. They will kill me. And after me, they will come for you. The door creaked wider. A shadow fell across the floor. Daniel had to choose. The door opened. Daniel's body froze, his heart pounding like a drum. A beam of light spilled into the room and heavy boots stepped inside. Two guards walked in, tall and broad, their faces hidden by black helmets. Their weapons glowed faint red, ready to fire. They stopped in front of the cage. One of them looked at the alien girl, who lowered her eyes, trembling. The other scanned the room. Daniel pressed himself behind a stack of crates, his breath shallow. "Still alive?" one guard muttered. His voice was cold. "She won't last long," the other answered. "Tomorrow the council will deal with her." They laughed quietly, cruelly, before turning back to the door. Their footsteps faded as they left, locking it behind them. Silence returned. Daniel slowly stepped out of the shadows, sweat dripping down his forehead. His hands shook. He had almost been caught. The alien girl lifted her head. Her eyes shone with tears. "You see? They want me dead. They fear me. Please, human. I beg you." Daniel swallowed hard. His mind screamed with doubt. Helping her meant breaking the rules. On this station, helping a prisoner was treason. Punishment was death. But something about her words echoed in his heart. "They fear me. Why?" She looked so weak, so broken, and yet her voice carried weight, as if she knew a secret hidden from everyone else. He stared at the chains. They were thick, glowing faint blue with energy. No ordinary lock. Whoever imprisoned her did not want her to escape. "Why me?" Daniel asked in a whisper. "There are hundreds here. Why do you call only to me?" The girl's lips trembled. "Because humans are different. You feel what others cannot. You hear what others ignore. I cried for days and none came. Only you." Her words struck deep. Daniel had always felt out of place on the station. The aliens worked together, strong and proud, while he was just another human worker. Invisible, forgotten. But now this prisoner was telling him he was special. His fists clenched. Still, fear held him back. "You don't understand," he whispered urgently. "If I open this cage, I'll be hunted. They'll throw me in chains too. I'll lose everything." The girl leaned closer, her chains rattling. Her voice dropped to a desperate whisper. "If you do nothing, you will lose far more. They are not only my enemies, they are yours too. You just don't know it yet." Daniel's heart raced. Her words felt like truth, heavy and sharp. But could he trust her? Or was this only a trap to trick him? The station creaked around them. Somewhere above, alarms buzzed faintly and machines roared. But down here in the cold shadows, Daniel faced his choice: run or help. He looked at her bruised wrists, the pale blue glow of her skin, the fear in her eyes. Something inside him, something human, pushed him toward her. Still doubt clung like a shadow. "Tell me," he said firmly. "Why do they want you dead? What are you hiding?" The girl's eyes shimmered. For a moment she hesitated, as if the truth itself might be dangerous. Then she whispered, "Because my people know what humans are, and what you will become. That is why they chain me. That is why they will never let me live." Daniel's breath caught. A chill ran down his spine. What could that mean? What was so special about humans? Before he could ask more, a loud beep echoed through the walls. A mechanical voice filled the room. "Security Patrol, Section 9, intrusion detected." Daniel's stomach dropped. They were searching. Someone had noticed movement. Maybe the guards had sensed something. Maybe cameras had seen him. The alien girl's eyes widened in panic. "Please, Daniel. You must choose now." The sound of footsteps grew louder again, rushing through the hall outside. Daniel's body shook. His thoughts spun like fire. Run away now. He could escape, go back to his cabin, and pretend nothing happened. He could survive, but if he left, she would die. And maybe her warning was true. Maybe by leaving her, he was leaving all of humanity to doom. The footsteps thundered closer. Shouts echoed. Daniel looked at her one last time. Her face pale, her eyes glowing, her hand reaching through the bars with desperate hope. Every part of him screamed with fear. But another voice, stronger now, whispered inside him, "If no one else will help, then I must." His hands moved fast. He pulled a tool from his belt, a small plasma cutter used for repairs. He pressed it against the glowing chains. Sparks flew. The air filled with heat and light. The girl gasped as the first chain snapped, but outside the door the guard shouted, "This way!" "Someone's inside." Daniel's breath came fast and hard. He cut through the second chain, sweat burning his eyes. The footsteps pounded like thunder, the door rattling as hands reached for it. The third chain hissed under the plasma cutter. Almost free. Almost. The door slammed open. 3 guards stormed in, weapons raised, their glowing barrels aimed straight at him. Daniel froze, cutter in hand, sparks still falling. The alien girl half free, her eyes wide with fear and hope. The leader of the guards pointed his weapon. His voice was like iron. Step away, now. Daniel's chest tightened. He had seconds. The choice was clear, surrender or fight. The guards filled the doorway, weapons glowing red, their armor shining under the dim lights. Daniel's hand shook as he held the plasma cutter. Sparks still hissed from the half-cut chain. Step away from the prisoner, the leader barked. His voice was sharp, full of command. Now, Daniel froze. His mind raced. If he obeyed, the girl would remain chained. If he refused, they would shoot him. The alien girl's voice came like a whisper, trembling but strong. Do not stop. If you stop now, all is lost. Daniel's heart pounded. He could feel sweat dripping down his back. For a moment, the whole universe seemed to hold its breath. Then, he made his choice. He swung the plasma cutter hard. Sparks exploded as the last chain snapped free. The alien girl cried out, her body falling forward, weak but free at last. The guards roared in anger. One fired his weapon. A blast of red energy tore across the room, smashing a crate into burning pieces. Daniel grabbed the girl by the arm and pulled her to her feet. Run, he shouted. They sprinted past the guards. Daniel shoved one aside, the plasma cutter slashing against armor. Sparks flew and the guards stumbled back, shouting in pain. The girl stumbled beside him, still weak from her long captivity, but her eyes burned with sudden fire. The guards chased them, shots exploding against the walls. Metal cracked, lights shattered, smoke filled the air. Daniel's lungs burned as he ran through the narrow corridors. Left, the girl gasped. The vent passage. Daniel trusted her instinct. He turned sharply, dragging her into a low tunnel lined with pipes. The guards followed, their footsteps pounding like hammers. They crawled fast, sparks of red energy blasting around them as shots ricocheted off the walls. Daniel's hands bled from scraping metal, but he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. Finally, they dropped into another chamber. Daniel slammed the vent door shut behind them. The girl collapsed, breathing hard, her chain still clinking weakly around her ankles. Daniel knelt beside her. Are you hurt? She shook her head slowly. Not hurt, only weak. Too long in the cage. He stared at her, chest heaving. Who are you? Why are they hunting you like this? Her eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. Because of what I carry inside me. A memory, a secret. Knowledge they cannot allow to live, Daniel frowned. What kind of secret? Before she could answer, a deep metallic thud echoed through the chamber. The locked vent door behind them glowed red as guards cut through it. They're coming, Daniel whispered. The girl forced herself to stand, her body trembling but her eyes fierce. Then we must move. There is one place we can hide, the engine levels. The machines there confuse scanners. Daniel nodded quickly. He grabbed her hand and together they ran deeper into the underbelly of the station. Corridors twisted like a maze. Steam hissed from broken pipes, shadows danced on the walls. Daniel's heart pounded louder with every step. Behind them, the sound of pursuit never stopped. Finally, they reached the engine decks. The air was hot and thick with smoke. Massive turbines roared, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Daniel pulled the girl behind a pillar, both of them gasping. For a moment, they were hidden. She looked at him with shining eyes. You risked your life. For me. Why? Daniel swallowed hard. He didn't know what to say. He didn't even know the answer himself. All he knew was that leaving her behind felt impossible. Because no one else would, he said simply. For the first time, she smiled, weak, but real. Before Daniel could say more, a shadow moved above them. He looked up sharply. On the walkway above, a figure stood watching. Tall, cloaked in black, face hidden behind a silver mask. Not a guard, someone else, someone worse. The figure's voice echoed down, deep and sharp like a blade. So the human makes his choice, how? Interesting. Daniel's blood ran cold. The girl gasped, her face pale. It's him, she whispered. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Who is he? Her voice trembled. The one who ordered my chains. The hunter of my people. The masked figure raised his hand. In it glowed a weapon unlike any Daniel had seen before, sharp with strange light. You cannot run, the figure said. You cannot hide. Give me the girl, human, and I may let you live. Daniel stepped in front of her, chest heaving, fists clenched. Fear roared inside him, but he didn't move aside. The masked figure tilted his head. So the human chooses death. Very well. He leapt down from the walkway, landing with a metallic thud. The girl gripped Daniel's arm, her voice urgent. You cannot fight him. Not yet, Daniel's mind raced. The roar of engines shook the chamber, shadows flickered, and the masked hunter stepped closer, weapon glowing brighter. Trapped, outnumbered, no escape. But Daniel's eyes hardened. He was human, and humans didn't give up so easily. The masked hunter stepped forward, his weapon glowing like a red flame. The roar of engines thundered around them, shaking the floor. Daniel's heart pounded. The alien girl clung to his arm, her eyes wide with fear. The hunter raised his blade. Human, his voice echoed, cold and cruel. You stand in my way. You protect what you do not understand. Daniel tightened his grip on the plasma cutter, even though he knew it was useless against that weapon. His legs shook, but he refused to move. Before the hunter could strike, alarms screamed through the engine deck. The floor trembled violently. Steam burst from pipes, blinding the room with white fog. Through the smoke, the girl pulled Daniel's hand. Now, she cried. They ran. The hunter swung his blade, cutting through the mist, but missed. His voice thundered behind them. Run while you can, human. You will not escape me forever. Daniel and the girl stumbled into a narrow maintenance shaft, slamming the hatch behind them. Darkness swallowed them. Only their ragged breaths filled the silence. Daniel leaned against the wall, chest burning. Who is that? The girl's voice shook. He is the hunter. My people call him the Chainmaker. He captures us, sells us, kills us. He is feared across many worlds, and now he hunts me. Daniel's blood ran cold. Why you? Her glowing eyes turned to him. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then softly she whispered, Because I carry a memory that cannot be erased. Daniel frowned. A memory? She nodded weakly. My people are keepers of ancient knowledge. We do not write it down. We hold it inside us. It passes from one mind to another through generations. Her chains clinked as she raised her bruised wrists. That is why they enslave us. We are not only bodies to them, we are living libraries. They want to erase what we remember, but they cannot. Daniel stared at her, speechless. And what do you remember? The girl's gaze burned brighter. Her voice dropped to a whisper, as if the walls themselves might be listening. I remember the truth about humans. Daniel's heart skipped. Humans, what truth? She leaned closer. Her breath trembled. You are different. Long ago, when the galaxy was young, humans fought battles no other race could survive. You adapted. You endured. You changed yourselves to live where no life should exist. My memory tells me this. Humans were feared not for their strength, but for their will. A will that breaks cages. Daniel's mind spun. He shook his head. That's impossible. Humans are ordinary. Weak, even. No, she said firmly. That is what they want you to believe. That is why the masters hide this truth. Because if humans awaken, no chain will hold them. Not ever. Her words struck him like lightning. For years he had felt small, invisible on this station. But now she was saying his kind was special. Not because of weapons or armies, but because of something inside. Before Daniel could speak, a deep metallic clang echoed down the shaft. Boots. Many boots. The guards had found their trail. The girl grabbed his hand again. We must move. If they catch us, the truth dies with me. They crawled through the shaft, their hands scraping metal, their breaths fast and shallow. The noise of pursuit grew louder. Daniel's muscles burned, but he pushed on, the girl's words echoing in his mind. Humans were feared for their will. Finally, they dropped into an old cargo bay. Broken machines and shadows filled the space. It smelled of dust and rust. For a moment, silence returned. The girl sank against the wall, weak and trembling. Daniel knelt beside her. We can't keep running forever. You need rest. Her eyes met his. There is no rest for me. Not until you understand, Daniel frowned. Understand what? She pressed a trembling hand against his chest. That your people are not forgotten. That the galaxy remembers you, even if you don't remember yourselves. Daniel's breath caught. Her hand was warm, glowing faintly with strange light. For a heartbeat, he felt something stir inside him. A strength deep and ancient like fire hidden under ashes. The moment broke as the cargo bay doors hissed. Daniel spun around. Red lights flashed as the massive doors opened. On the other side stood a squad of guards, weapons ready. And at the center, stepping forward with slow, cruel steps, the masked hunter. His voice cut through the room like ice. I told you, human. You cannot hide. You cannot win. The girl's face went pale. She clutched Daniel's arm, whispering, "If he takes me now, everything is lost. The truth will die with me." Daniel's fist clenched. His heart thundered in his ears. He had no weapons, no plan, only the fire of her words burning in his chest. The hunter raised his blade high, its red glow casting long shadows across the bay. "Step aside," he commanded, "or be the first human I put in chains." Daniel's body shook, but he stepped in front of the girl, shoulders squared, eyes locked on the hunter. He whispered to himself, almost too soft to hear, "No more cages." The hunter charged. The hunter charged, his red blade cutting the air like fire. Daniel grabbed the alien girl's hand and pulled her back just in time. The blade slammed into the ground, slicing metal like paper. Sparks exploded, filling the cargo bay with blinding light. "Run!" Daniel shouted. They sprinted between broken machines as the hunter's footsteps thundered behind them. Guards fired their weapons, red blasts ripping through the shadows. Daniel ducked low, dragging the girl with him as energy bolts exploded around them. The girl stumbled, chains still clinking around her ankles. Daniel caught her before she fell. "Keep moving," he urged, his voice desperate, but the hunter was fast, too fast. He leapt across the wreckage, his blade glowing brighter. "You cannot run forever, human." His voice boomed. Daniel's chest burned, his lungs screaming for air. He darted left, pushing through a side door into a narrow hallway. Lights flickered above them. Sirens wailed through the station as alarms spread. "Security breach. Prisoner escaped. Human accomplice." Daniel cursed under his breath. The entire station now hunted them. The girl's voice trembled. "If they catch me, the memory dies." "We cannot let that happen." Daniel clenched his teeth. "Then we don't stop." They ran through twisting corridors, past shadows of workers retreating into their cabins, afraid to interfere. Some pointed, whispering, but none dared to help. To them, Daniel was already dead. The sound of armored boots followed. The hunter's voice echoed through speakers. "Seal the exits. Do not let them reach the docks." Daniel's stomach twisted. The dock, of course. If they could reach a ship, maybe they could escape. He pulled the girl forward, turning sharply toward the docking bays. Behind them, guards poured through every corridor, their shots exploding against walls and doors. They burst into a stairwell. Daniel pushed the girl upward, his body aching with exhaustion. Halfway up, the hunter's voice roared from below. "You cannot hide from me, human. You are already mine." Daniel didn't look back. He shoved the door open, and they stumbled into the docking ring. The vast chamber stretched wide, filled with ships, loading cranes, and glowing force fields that separated the station from the void of space. The girl's eyes widened with hope. There, the small shuttle. Daniel saw it too, a maintenance shuttle, small and old but enough to fly. They sprinted toward it, but alarms blared louder. Massive gates slammed down across the chamber, locking the ships inside. Red shields glowed, sealing every exit. Daniel's heart sank. "They're locking us in!" The girl gasped. "No! There is still a way." She pointed to a narrow maintenance path running along the wall, leading toward the shuttle bay controls. Daniel pulled her along. Guards poured into the docking ring, weapons blazing. Shots ripped across the chamber, smashing crates and shattering glass. Daniel ducked behind cover, dragging the girl with him before bolting toward the path. They climbed the narrow walkway, the metal groaning under their weight. Daniel's muscles screamed, but he didn't stop. Halfway across, a deep metallic crash shook the chamber. Daniel turned, and his blood ran cold. The hunter had arrived. He strode through the smoke, blade glowing like a star, cutting down crates and guards alike as he advanced. His masked face turned up toward them. "Do you think you can escape me?" His voice thundered. "The galaxy itself will close its doors to you." Daniel pulled the girl faster, forcing his shaking legs to move. They reached the control panel. "Can you open it?" Daniel gasped. The girl placed her glowing hand against the panel. Strange light shimmered from her skin into the machine. "Yes, but it will take time." "Time we don't have," Daniel muttered, glancing back. The hunter leapt onto the walkway, his heavy steps shaking the metal under their feet. Guards cheered behind him, certain the chase was over. Daniel's chest heaved. He could fight, but against that blade he was nothing. Still, he raised the plasma cutter in trembling hands. The girl cried out, "Hold him! Just for moments more!" The hunter charged. Daniel met him with a desperate swing. Sparks flew as the plasma cutter clashed against the glowing blade. but the force sent Daniel crashing into the railing. Pain shot through his body. Pathetic, the hunter hissed. He raised his weapon high for the killing strike, but before the blade could fall, the panel behind Daniel beeped. The girl's voice rang out, "The shield is down!" A section of the docking field flickered and collapsed, revealing the vast black of space beyond. The shuttle's locks released with a heavy clang. Daniel's eyes widened. "Go!" he shouted. The girl pulled him up, and together they ran across the final stretch of the walkway. The hunter roared, his blades slicing through metal, sparks raining down as he chased them. They reached the shuttle. Daniel slammed the hatch open, pushing the girl inside before diving after her. He hit the controls and the shuttle engines roared to life. The hunter leapt, landing on the hull, his blades stabbing down. Sparks exploded as metal cracked. "Get him off!" Daniel shouted. The girl pressed her glowing hand against the controls again. Energy surged through the shuttle. With a violent jolt, the engines blasted, throwing the hunter off into the docking bay floor. The shuttle shot forward, crashing through the half-open shield and bursting into the stars. Daniel collapsed into the seat, gasping, his hands shaking. The girl slumped beside him, pale but alive. For a moment, silence filled the shuttle. The stars stretched endless before them. Then a red light flashed on the console. Daniel's stomach dropped. Multiple ships had locked onto their signal. "Enemy fighters." The girl's voice broke the silence, soft but grim. "They will not stop. If they catch me, the galaxy burns. If they catch you, humanity burns." Daniel stared out the window at the swarm of ships closing in. His jaw tightened. "Then we don't get caught." He gripped the controls, heart pounding. The chase had only begun. The shuttle rattled as enemy fire streaked past. Daniel gripped the controls, sweat dripping from his face. Red lights flashed across the console, warning of critical damage. "They're too many," he shouted. The alien girl leaned weakly against the seat, her eyes glowing faintly. "Hold on. The ship cannot last long." A blast shook the shuttle, sending sparks raining from the ceiling. The hull screamed as metal tore. Alarms shrieked louder. Daniel cursed under his breath. "We can't outrun them." The girl lifted her head, her voice soft but steady. "Then we must fall." Before Daniel could ask, another blast struck. The shuttle spun out of control, fire trailing from its engines. The stars blurred into streaks as the ship dove toward the planet below, a dark world covered in clouds and storms. "Brace!" Daniel yelled. The shuttle pierced the atmosphere, shaking violently. Flames wrapped the hull. Daniel fought the controls with all his strength. But the shuttle roared like a beast breaking apart. With a final scream of metal, they crashed into the surface. Silence followed. Daniel gasped, opening his eyes. Smoke filled the cabin, but he was alive. He coughed hard, forcing himself up. The alien girl lay beside him, unconscious but breathing. Relief washed over him. He kicked the broken hatch open and stepped out. The planet was strange, silent, heavy with fog. Black stone stretched across the land, cracked and jagged as if the world itself had been shattered long ago. Strange ruins rose from the ground, towering like broken teeth. Daniel's chest tightened. "Where are we?" The girl stirred, slowly standing. Her eyes widened as she looked at the ruins. "This world." "I know it," Daniel frowned. "How?" "You've been chained for my memory," she whispered. "These stones, they are older than any empire. They are from the age when humans first walked the stars." Daniel froze. "What are you talking about?" She walked forward, her chains dragging softly against the stone. Her voice carried an ancient weight. "Long ago, before the masters, before the hunters, before the wars, you humans came here. You built. You fought. You survived." Daniel's heart pounded. "That's impossible. Humans never had starships until now." She turned to him, her eyes glowing brighter. "That is the lie. They erased your history. They hid it from you. But I remember. My people remember. We carry the truth in our minds." Daniel's legs felt weak. "So you're saying humans were here? On this planet?" "Yes," she said firmly. "Not just here. Across many worlds. You were not weak. You were feared. You changed yourselves to live on fire worlds, ice worlds, poisoned worlds. You were called the survivors. No matter what the galaxy threw at you, you endured." Daniel's breath caught. Memories of his life on the station flashed through him. The long hours of labor. The way other species treated humans as small, unimportant, ordinary. And now she was saying it was all a lie. The girl touched a broken wall, her hand glowing faintly. Ancient carvings lit up, shimmering with pale light. Symbols appeared, sharp and powerful. Daniel stepped closer. The carvings showed figures. Tall humans with fire in their hands, standing against monstrous creatures. Battles carved in stone, humans fighting and winning against impossible odds. His chest tightened. "That's us," he whispered. The girl nodded. "This is why they fear you. Not because of what you are now, but because of what you could become again." Daniel felt something stir deep inside, like fire waking from long sleep. But before he could speak, the ground trembled. A low hum echoed through the ruins. The sky above cracked with red light. Daniel looked up. His blood ran cold. A massive ship broke through the clouds, descending slowly. Its shape was dark and sharp, glowing red across its hull. The girl's face went pale. "The hunter. He has found us." Daniel's heart raced. "Already? How?" "They never stop," she whispered. "He will burn this world if he must. He cannot let the memory survive." The ship hovered above, casting shadows across the ruins. Pieces of stone fell as engines roared. Daniel grabbed her arm. "We need to hide." But the girl shook her head. Her eyes burned with sudden fire. "No, the ruins are not only memories. They are warnings and weapons." She pressed both hands against the carvings. The symbols glowed brighter, spreading like fire across the walls. The ground shook harder. Daniel stumbled back. "What are you doing?" Her voice was fierce, stronger than before. "Awakening what your people left behind." The ruins lit up. Massive towers rose from the ground, tearing through stone and dust. Strange machines, old but powerful, stirred with deep rumbles. Daniel's eyes widened. The world itself seemed to come alive, answering her touch. Above, the hunter's ship opened fire. Red blasts rained down, shaking the land, but the ruins fought back. Beams of pale light shot upward, striking the hunter's ship. The sky exploded with fire. The girl turned to Daniel, her face glowing in the strange light. "Do you see now? Your people were never weak. They left behind power to remind you who you are." Daniel's chest burned with a fire he had never known before. For the first time he believed her. But the hunter's ship did not fall. It roared louder, sending more fire raining from the sky. The girl staggered, her strength fading. "I cannot hold it alone. You must choose, Daniel. Will you run again, or will you awaken what sleeps inside you?" Daniel stared at the glowing ruins, then at the sky burning above them. His fists clenched. The truth was clear now. He was human. And humans did not run forever. The hunter's voice thundered across the sky. "You cannot stop me, human. You will kneel just as your kind always has." Daniel's eyes hardened. His voice cut through the storm. "Not anymore." He stepped forward toward the glowing ruins. The ruins shook as beams of light fired into the sky. Dust swirled, stones cracked, and the air trembled with power that had slept for centuries. Daniel stood before the glowing carvings, his fists clenched. Behind him, the alien girl swayed, weak but still awake. Above them, the hunter's ship filled the sky like a black shadow of death. "Human." The hunter's voice thundered from above. "You cannot win. This world will burn, and you with it." Daniel looked up, his jaw tight. For the first time, he did not feel small. He did not feel weak. He felt something inside him, a fire hot and steady rising from deep within. The girl's trembling voice carried over the roar of machines. "It is inside you, Daniel. The will of your people. Take it. Use it." Daniel pressed his hands against the glowing carvings. A surge of energy shot through him. His body shook. His vision blurred. He gasped as if drowning in fire and light. Images exploded in his mind. Ancient humans walking across burning deserts, surviving frozen storms, breathing poisonous air and refusing to die. Battles fought against monsters larger than mountains. Wars endured when every other species fell. The truth seared through him. Humans did not survive because they were the strongest. They survived because they refused to give up. Daniel's eyes snapped open. The ruins answered his will. Towers rose higher, humming with energy. Beams of light locked onto the hunter's ship, shaking it with blasts of pale fire. The hunter leapt from the ship, landing on the ruins with a crash. His blade burned red, his masked face turned toward Daniel. "So, the human awakens," he said coldly. "Then I will break you myself." Daniel stepped forward. His voice was steady. "Try," the hunter charged. His blade cut down like lightning. Daniel raised his arm, and to his shock, the carvings glowed brighter, forming a shield of light that blocked the strike. The ground shook from the impact, but Daniel stood firm. The girl gasped, hope lighting her pale face. Yes, that is it. The will made flesh, the hunter roared in rage, striking again and again. Sparks and light exploded around them. Daniel's arms trembled, but he did not fall. He pushed back, his shield burning brighter. With a shout, he shoved the hunter away. The masked figure stumbled, then steadied himself, his blade hissing. You are still nothing, the hunter growled. One human cannot stop me. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Then it's a good thing I'm not alone. The ruins glowed brighter, responding not only to Daniel but to the presence of the girl beside him. Her memory, his will, they fed the ancient machines together. A deep rumble echoed. From the broken ground rose massive constructs of stone and light, shaped like warriors, ancient guardians built by humans long ago. Their eyes burned with fire as they turned toward the hunter. The girl whispered in awe, "The protectors, they still live." The hunter raised his blade defiantly. "Machines cannot save you." He leapt into battle, cutting one guardian down with a blazing strike. But another stepped forward, blocking his path. Daniel felt their strength flow through him as if he was commanding them with his own will. He clenched his fists. "Fight with me." The guardians moved as one, clashing with the hunter. The ruins blazed with energy, beams tearing across the sky. The hunter fought fiercely, his blade striking with fury. But for the first time, he was pushed back. Daniel charged too, swinging his plasma cutter like a sword of fire. He met the hunter's blade in a clash that shook the ruins. Sparks blinded him. Heat burned his skin, but he held firm. The hunter snarled, voice filled with fury. "You cannot win, human. You are only flesh." Daniel's voice rang out strong and clear. "Maybe, but flesh that refuses to break is stronger than iron." With a final roar, he pushed forward. The guardians struck with him, their beams converging. The hunter staggered, his mask cracking. He screamed in rage as light engulfed him. The explosion shook the sky. The hunter's body was hurled back into his ship. Flames erupted as the vessel groaned, breaking apart. The black shadow collapsed, crashing into the horizon with thunder that shook the world. Silence fell. Daniel stood, chest heaving, sweat pouring down his face. The guardians faded back into stone, their duty complete. The ruins dimmed, but the fire inside him did not. The girl collapsed to her knees, tears shining in her eyes. "You did it." "The memory survives. Humanity survives." Daniel helped her to her feet. "We did it, together." They looked to the sky, where stars glittered above the clouds. But the silence was brief. Dozens of red lights appeared in orbit. More ships. More enemies. The war was not over. The girl's voice trembled but held strength. "They will come again, stronger. The galaxy will not let this stand." Daniel's eyes hardened. His voice was steady. "Then let them come. Because now, humans will stand too." He looked at the stars, his jaw set. For the first time, he did not feel small. For the first time, he believed, the legend of humanity had awakened. And it was only the beginning.